The Jedi Council gathered in the Temple Tower on Coruscant seemed more tense than ever. Mace Windu gazed out the panoramic window, while the other masters discussed in low voices. Something was wrong in the Force, a disturbance that everyone felt, but no one could identify. Obi-Wan Kenobi crossed his arms, his expression revealing growing concern. The dark side is stronger. Each passing day, I feel as if we're walking toward an abyss we cannot see. Ki-Adi-Mundi nodded gravely, his long hands interlaced. The war has blinded us. We've become generals when we should be guardians of peace. Yoda remained silent, his eyes closed, meditating deeply on the disturbance they all shared. That night, Yoda sat alone in the meditation chamber, letting the Force flow through him like an ancient river. Fragmented visions danced in his mind, pieces of a puzzle that refused to complete itself. Then, like lightning piercing the darkness, an absolute certainty struck him. The archives. He needed to investigate the Jedi archives. Rising with difficulty, the small master walked through the empty corridors to the temple's vast library. Jocasta Nu had retired hours ago, leaving only flickering holograms illuminating the endless shelves. Yoda searched for hours, scouring ancient records, forgotten texts, until he finally found it. Obscure references to the world between worlds, a temporal nexus mentioned only in legends. Impossible. This cannot be. Yoda murmured to himself, his fingers trembling slightly as he read the ancient scriptures. The text spoke of a portal on Lothal, a place where all timelines converged, where past and future existed simultaneously. A powerful tool, but dangerous. Yoda knew such knowledge could be the salvation or the perdition of the Order. The next morning, he convened an emergency council meeting. When he presented his discovery, the silence that followed was profound. Plo Koon leaned forward, his voice filtered through the mask, sounding even graver. If this is real, we could see threats before they materialize. Mace Windu pounded his fist on the armrest. Or we could destroy the very fabric of reality trying to control it. Test it, we must, Yoda declared firmly. But only Windu and I. Too dangerous for more. If real it is, weapon against the darkness it can be. If false it is, only two fools we will seem. Anakin Skywalker, who was observing from the side, stepped forward. Master, let me go with you. I'm strong enough to help if something goes wrong. Yoda slowly shook his head. No, young Skywalker. Here necessary you are. Dark, the path that Windu and I will tread. Obi-Wan placed his hand on his former Padawan's shoulder. He's right, Anakin. Some burdens must be carried only by the most experienced. The decision was made. Yoda and Mace would depart for Lothal at dawn. The journey to Lothal was silent. Mace Windu piloted the ship while Yoda meditated in the co-pilot seat, preparing his mind for what they might find. When they landed near the coordinates indicated in the ancient texts, the temple gradually revealed itself through the morning mist. It was an imposing structure, covered with wild vegetation, but still radiating power and the Force. The two masters walked side by side until they found the central chamber, where the portal awaited them. The sight was breathtaking, a giant circle filled with ancient symbols, with paths of light extending to infinity. Incredible, Mace whispered. The texts didn't do it justice. Yoda raised his staff and touched the portal. Immediately, the images began to flow. Yoda and Mace crossed the threshold of the portal and immediately felt their bodies become ethereal, as if they were made of pure Force energy. The space around them defied any logical comprehension. There was no solid ground, only luminous paths that floated in the infinite void, intertwined like an impossible cosmic web. Thousands, perhaps millions of circular portals hovered in all directions, each showing a different fragment of time. Some displayed ancient Sith battles, Others showed peaceful moments in long-forgotten Jedi temples. Voices echoed through the void, whispers of conversations that happened centuries ago mixed with cries from wars yet to come. Mace extended his hand, trying to touch one of the nearby portals, but it moved away like water, always maintaining the same distance. Master Yoda, this is beyond anything I could imagine. How can something like this exist? The Force itself, this place is, Yoda replied, his voice reverberating strangely in the timeless space. He watched in wonder as paths of blue and green light pulsed around them, connecting portals in patterns that seemed to have some hidden meaning. In a nearby portal, they saw young Anakin being presented to the Council for the first time. In another, Obi-Wan faced General Grievous. Yoda felt a chill run through his essence. Time here didn't flow linearly, but existed all at once, each moment as real as the other. Careful, Windu. Touch what we must not. We can. Observe only. Our mission is. But tempting, this power will always be. Then Yoda focused his intention, seeking a specific point in time. The portal responded, opening a luminous path. Come, Windu. Specific moment I chose. When Anakin fights with Dooku, we will see. Together, they crossed the temporal threshold and emerged in Geonosis. There was Anakin, younger, facing Count Dooku while Obi-Wan was incapacitated. Dooku then cut off Anakin's hand, and Yoda's shadow began to form at the cave entrance. Yoda felt a chill run down his spine. Enough seen, we have. Return, we must. Back in the present, the two masters immediately returned to Coruscant. The council meeting was convened with maximum urgency. When Yoda and Mace reported what they had witnessed, disbelief quickly gave way to shock. The portal is real, Mace confirmed, his voice heavy with weight. We saw events with our own eyes. The past, the present, the future, everything exists simultaneously in that place. Obi-Wan stood up abruptly. Then we can use this to identify the Sith Lord? To end this war before more lives are lost? Yoda remained thoughtful. Careful, we must be. Use only in extreme emergency, we must promise. The council unanimously agreed. The secret of the world between worlds would be guarded, used only if the Order itself was in mortal danger. Events continued their natural course. The Clone Wars intensified, Grievous was cornered, and finally Obi-Wan departed for Utapau, while Yoda traveled to Kashyyyk to aid the Wookiees. It was there, fighting alongside Tarful and Chewbacca, that the nightmare began. Yoda was meditating briefly when he felt the change. The clones around him, loyal soldiers with whom he had fought for years, suddenly pointed their blasters in his direction. But Yoda already knew. He felt the darkness sweeping the galaxy, felt other Jedi falling, their lights extinguishing one by one in the Force. Execute Order 66, Gree said mechanically. Yoda didn't hesitate. His lightsaber ignited, and he moved with impossible speed, deflecting shots and neutralizing the traitors. The Wookiees roared in confusion, but helped their Jedi ally. When the dust settled, Yoda knew exactly what had happened, and he knew what he needed to do. Yoda ran to the nearest ship, his ancient heart beating with renewed urgency. He entered the coordinates for Lothal, pushing the engines to their limit. Through the Force, he felt the Jedi Temple in flames, felt Anakin bleeding darkness, felt Palpatine laughing victoriously. Too late. It cannot be. Change this. I must. Forgive me. The ancient masters must. The journey seemed to last an eternity, but finally Lothal appeared in sight. Yoda landed violently and ran to the temple, ignoring the pain in his old legs. The portal awaited him, pulsing with timeless energy. He didn't hesitate, plunging through the paths of light, focusing every fiber of his being on a specific moment. Palpatine's office. The world between worlds enveloped him in a chaotic embrace. Thousands of portals floated around him, each showing a different moment in history. Yoda saw himself training young Padawans, saw Qui-Gon Jinn falling under Maul's blade, saw Luke Skywalker facing Vader without understanding what that was. But he maintained focus, searching for that critical moment. Then he found it. The Supreme Chancellor's office, Palpatine revealed as Darth Sidious, fighting against Mace Windu as Anakin arrived at the door. The moment. This is. Yoda crossed the portal, emerging on an external balcony of the building, running through the broken windows. Inside the office, the scene unfolded exactly as Yoda feared. Palpatine was on the floor, apparently defenseless, pleading while Mace held the purple saber over him. "He's too dangerous to be left alive!" Mace shouted. Anakin was torn, his yellow eyes already beginning to appear. "I need him!" Anakin screamed, and his saber ignited, moving to cut off Mace's hand. But before the blade could connect, a second green blade intercepted. Yoda had arrived. With a fluid movement, impossible for someone his age, the ancient master cut off Anakin's mechanical hand, sending it flying along with his lightsaber. Anakin screamed in pain and shock, falling to his knees. "Master Yoda?" Mace was astonished, confused about how Yoda could be there when he should be on Kashyyyk. Palpatine tried to launch lightning, but Yoda was faster. His saber pierced through the Sith Lord's chest before he could react. The would-be Emperor gasped, his yellow eyes widening in disbelief. "From the future, I come," Yoda declared calmly, watching Palpatine fall. "See your empire of horror, I did. Prevent this, my duty was. The world between worlds, for this it exists." Anakin looked on horrified, tears running down his face, the dark fog beginning to dissipate from his mind. What did I almost do? Mace approached, his expression grave but understanding. "Anakin, you were manipulated, but there's still time to choose the light." Yoda turned to the portal still glowing faintly behind him. "Return. Now I must. Different reality I created." He crossed back through, and when he emerged in Lothal, everything had changed. The stars seemed different. The Force itself sang a new melody. Yoda returned to Coruscant and found the Jedi Temple intact. No fire, no massacre. Anakin was in the healing chamber, being treated for his lost hand, but alive and sound. Obi-Wan ran to Yoda. "Master, what happened?" "There are conflicting reports, strange memories. Some clones speak of an order they never received." Yoda smiled sadly. "Timeline? I changed. High price it was. But save the order, I did. Destroyed. The world between worlds must be now. Power so great, exist it must not." In the following days, the Republic reorganized itself. Palpatine was exposed as Darth Sidious, his conspiracy network dismantled. Anakin, marked by the experience but redeemed, remained with the Jedi, working through his darkness with Padme by his side. The Council decided Yoda was right. The world between worlds was too dangerous. Together, the Masters traveled to Lothal and, using the combined force, collapsed the temple upon itself, sealing the portal forever. As they watched the structure crumble, Mace turned to Yoda. "You saved us all, Master." Yoda looked at the stars, thinking of the timelines he had destroyed, of the lives that might never exist now. Renewed the hope. It was.